Welcome to this training on the installation and basic functions of the new Gates Design Power application. My name is Gabe McCoy, and I'm a product fatigue engineer in the Computer-Aided Engineering Tools group at Gates. I'm one of the mechanical engineers supporting our software developers with drive calculations and product performance models. I'll be taking you through this training, but I want to take a second to recognize the whole team of engineers and developers behind Design Power. We've been hard at work to bring you this cool new application. So, what is Design Power? Design Power is a new application containing all proprietary Gates engineering software as modules. This includes our publicly available applications, Design IQ and Design Flex Pro. When working with Design IQ and Design Flex Pro in Design Power, you'll be treated to a modern user interface and functionality. Additionally, Gates software developers provide new features and updates along with maintenance and support for Design Power. You can reach them at Gates Design Software Support at gates.com. Going forward, I'll refer to this address as GDSS. You can reach them with questions, concerns, and feedback. There's a link to that email in the description of this video, along with a link in Design Power's Help menu. At this point, you're probably thinking, hey, Design Power sounds pretty great. How can I install it on my machine? To do so, just visit www.gates.com, click on Knowledge Center, and from the drop-down, select Engineering Applications. From there, you'll find and select Gates Design Power and click the download link. There's also a link in the description of this video. You'll likely need to see your IT department if you're using a computer managed by your organization. If you happen to be a Gates employee watching this video, just visit our internal software center. Once you have Design Power installed, there are a few simple setup procedures. First, you'll need to create your account. Select New and enter your information. You might receive a warning, and that's simply because the GDSS team needs to set up your account. They'll work to do this as soon as possible. Once GDSS has set up your account, you're ready to start using Design Power. Since this is a new application, I want to cover a couple definitions. A design is all of the information for a specific drive. A project is like a container for designs. A project can contain multiple designs, including designs from multiple and different Design Power modules. This is an update from our standalone applications, which only allowed for one design within a file. To reiterate, Design Power project files can hold multiple designs, including designs from any available module. It's also important to note that there are no separate design files. All Design Power files are .prj project files. When you first launch Design Power, you'll see a screen that looks like this. New Project and Open Project do exactly what you would expect. New Design will prompt you to save a project to hold the new design. Be sure to change the name to avoid an accidental overwrite in case you already have something saved as New Project. If you already have a project open, New Design will simply create a new design within your current project. Now let's get familiar with Design Power's menus. First up is the File menu. Within File, we have options to create a new project, as well as to create a new design within the current project. Under Open, we have options to open an existing project. We can also open a design. Think of this like import. You can select a design from another project and open it into your current project. And note, this does create a copy of the design, so you are not modifying the original. DesignFlex allows you to open legacy.dfs DesignFlex Pro files, and you can do that either as a new project or import to the current project as a new design. Under Legacy Files, you can open old files from other Gates standalone applications. Save Project works as you would expect, and Save Design to New Project you can think of like Export. This allows the user to save the current design into a new project. Save As works as you would expect, allowing you to create a copy of your project with a new name. And lastly, Exit closes the application. Next on our menu bar is Tools. The first option within the Tools menu is Users, and this allows the selection and management of different user accounts, which is mainly helpful for a shared machine like on a shop or plant floor. Program Settings allows you to adjust options which will be applied throughout Design Power. Site Code, do not edit this. This is for users without internet access and should only be edited with assistance from GDSS. Proxy Settings is for users with an older IT system using a manual proxy. Next we have Languages, where the user can select from myriad available Design Power languages. Up next, we have Backups. This is a new feature within Design Power in which the application will save 10 historical copies of projects. It's important to note this is a single, most recent historical copy of 10 different projects, not 10 copies back through time of a single project. Along with backups, Design Power also includes an auto recovery feature. If you experience an issue with your machine or a program crash, Design Power should automatically recover the project for you. A word of caution: if you need to recover a project, simply open the Design Power application and it should prompt you to recover said project. If not, simply go to Backups. If you try to open the project first, Design Power may overwrite the backup with the opened version. A fix for this is under development. If you have any issues, please send your project to GDSS and they may be able to help. Below Backups, we have Themes, where you can apply visual settings. And within a module, we'll see some changes to the Tools menu. Specifically, we'll get a Module Settings option, where you can make mostly visual settings for the current module. We'll also see Design Settings, where you can make changes for a specific design. And we'll see Unit Schemes. Here we can select US or metric units. You can select which scheme starts as a default when the program starts. You can also change the scheme for your current project. Design Power also allows for user-created unit schemes. Simply click New and select Preferred Units for all parameters. Very useful if you need a mix of metric and US customary units. We'll also have some specific module tools within certain modules. Like here in DesignFlex Pro, we can see pricing tables. Lastly, on the menu bar is Help. Here you can find a link to the license agreement text, a change log where you can see the changes that we've made to the application through various versions. Program help and tips includes shortcut keys, as well as some helpful tools for quickly navigating graphs. Additionally, we have links to a training document and a link to this very training. Maybe that's how you got here today. We have a link to the Gates website, as well as a quick way to send an email to GDSS. Lastly, we have About Design Power, where you can find version information, your user info, and other details. This is very helpful for GDSS troubleshooting, so if you happen to send them a question, it never hurts to include a screenshot of your About Design Power window as well. Now let's cover the operation of Design Power within a project. You'll see here in my demo project, I have a couple designs already, and I want to create a new one. So I'll select New Design. I'll give it a name, hit OK, and then I need to select my module. For this demonstration, I will select Design IQ, and I'll be taken to the page to work with the Design IQ module. Here I can select tiles to input drive information and make design decisions. We do recommend that you proceed through the tiles in order. In this case, to make a more visually pleasing demonstration, I'm going to input belt type information in the background and move on to the geometry tile. This is Design IQ's geometry view, and I want to highlight a couple buttons within a tile. Specifically, the Next button allows us to move to the next tile. Undo undoes all of the changes on the current tile. So if I make some adjustments to my drive, both pulley size and belt length, then I click Undo, I'll receive a warning. It tells me all changes will be undone. If I select Yes, you'll see both my belt length and my pulley size have reverted back to my original. Some of our modules do allow typical undo Control-Z options where you can undo a single change. Just check the Edit menu up in the menu bar. Open Tile allows you to select any tile within the current design, as shown here. And Close closes the tile and takes you back to the design view. Over on the right-hand side, you'll see a Settings button. This is just another way to access module settings. And depending on the module, additional settings buttons may appear over here on the right-hand side. Also within the design view, tabs allow for movement among designs within your project. In this case, I'm going to go back to the DIQ Demo tab. Below the tabs, we have Input and Output buttons. Input refers to the tiles we've been working with, and Output opens the drive report, as shown here. Over on the right-hand side, we have report buttons, and these will vary depending upon the module. For example, here in Design IQ, we have section selection, where we can turn on and off certain sections of the report. In this case, we only have one section, but in other reports, you can turn on and off parts of the report to tailor it to your needs. Additionally, we have other options where you can further fine-tune your report. We have additional buttons, again, module specific, and at the top, we have some buttons that will be consistent throughout Design Power reports. We can print the report, export it to a PDF, and adjust the view. I'll close the report and click on the Project View button at the top to take us back to the Project View screen. Here on the Project View, we can see all designs that are part of our project. We also have some options to work with our designs. If I right-click on Example Design, you'll see I have the option to rename the design. add a description which appears on the design's tile, make a copy of the design into the same project, delete the design, create a design library based on the design, more on that in just a moment. I can reorder my designs, and I can change the colors. So I'm going to do a couple of those right now, change the color of example design, add a note that it's for training purposes, and move it to the front of the list. Lastly, let's highlight one more major new feature of Design Power, a design library. If I right-click a design and select Create Design Library, I'll be taken to the Design Library view. A design library contains multiple derivatives of a single design. An example application of this would be various revisions for a specific drive. Let's cover working within a design library. If I right-click on my original, you'll see I have the options to create or delete derivatives. This copies a new design within the library or deletes a design. I'll do that a couple times. Create a derivative of my derivative, and create another derivative of my original. Here, all four are going to be the same, but you can easily see how if you've made slight changes to certain derivatives and you want to make additional changes, this feature can be very useful. Now let's go to the design view for one of our derivatives. This is very similar to our standard design view. You'll see the same tiles that we saw in the DIQ demo. Again, I'm going to select the geometry view, and I'm going to make some changes to this particular derivative. Then I'm going to save my changes. Note you could hit Control S, and Design Power will prompt you to add a comment indicating what changes were made to this derivative. I'm going to say this is a smaller driver pulley and a longer belt and center distance, and I'll click Yes, and those changes will be saved. Then I'm going to go back to the Design Library view, where I can see all of my derivatives once again. I have some further options for working with derivatives. Again, I'll right-click on derivative 1. Here you see I can change a note. That would be that note I just made. I could edit or update that note as needed. I can also lock and unlock derivatives to prevent and allow changes. I can set a certain derivative as my master. Use this to signify an important derivative such as your original and new baseline design or otherwise. You can also open the history of your design library, seeing as you must add a note when you save a derivative. All of your notes are shown here. So you can see my note of smaller driver, longer belt, and center distance up there, along with when the changes were made and who made them. We can also change the color of a tile. In this case, I made derivative 2 yellow. And lastly, we can move a derivative copy to our project. This basically exports a copy of the design out of the library and into the current project as a new design. You'll see here, example design derivative 1 copy is listed right here. With that, we've reached the end of our training. If you have any questions or comments as you get started using Gates Design Power, please reach out to Gates Design Software Support at gates.com. Again, a link to that email is in the description of this video, along with a download link and links to trainings for specific modules. Thank you and enjoy the all-new Gates Design Power application.